Thank you so much for talking to the Rock Pit today. It's
Yeah.
I've had the album now for about 10 days and I can't stop playing it. It's
Oh, wow. Thank you.
and as someone who owns all of your albums, I thought you were going to like find it hard to top Faster, which was my previous favorite from a couple of years back, but you managed to do
Yeah. Oh, good. Well, thank God.
it.
Yeah.
Well,
The idea is to get better with each one, right? So thankfully,
I,
hopefully still on the trajectory with that.
I know that's the idea, but so few people can actually manage that. There's some wonderful collaborations in there, and some wonderful songs which I love to talk about soon.
Sure.
Um,
Yeah.
and also, I'd love to thank you for some of my favorite concerts of the last few years as well. Coming down with Jesse last year and uh, the year before on your own, some wonderful,
Yeah.
wonderful live shows. It's
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, it's always great to get down there and see all of our fans on that side of the world. I love coming to Australia. I'm bummed that we're not going to make it for 2025, but really hopeful for 2026 tour because it's one of my favorite places to go to.
Oh, that's great. Great to
Yeah.
hear. You've got a lot on in 2025 already. I've just been
Yeah.
looking at the US dates and the European dates as well. But you're going to be
Yes.
taking a fantastic album out for people to hear. How much of it
Thank
do you
you.
think you're going to get to play?
I mean, as much or as little of it as I want, I think. Luckily, nobody is really telling me what I have to play or what I don't have to play at this point. So really, I mean, I guess that's the luxury and burden of not having a hit song is that you kind of have, you can kind of do what you want. I try to like, cater to our hardcore fans and I know the songs that I think I know the songs that they really want to hear and I try to like pepper in, stuff that I know people want, but also it's really good as an artist to get to do a different show
Yeah.
and to create something like an experience. I want to create an experience for our fans, and I want to give them a different show every cycle or so, just to keep things fresh. Give them reasons to come back.
I think that's the beauty of it for me. I mean, some bands are out there playing the same old set week in, week out, year in, year out, but it's always magical to hear new stuff for me. And but Bobby, who produced Chills and Fever a few years back, has done the sound of the album is absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, Bobby he's truly an artist. He's really been wonderful. I'm really glad that we got to work together again and take the song together. And it just really was like a right time, right place situation for us. He and I reconnected last March and just started talking about co-writing really. And when it came around time to talk about producers, he and I had been working so closely on co-writes. It just made all the sense in the world. And he really believed in, the songs that we were writing together and the other songs that I'd written. And he's a visionary. He really, when he gets an idea about what something should sound like, he sees a whole picture. And he's on it. It's honestly a little like it's an attractive thing, because he has a vision. It's like you want to work with someone who has enthusiasm and a vision and you can share that, it's I think that's hard to find sometimes in musical partnerships, but it's not hard with him. He really has that passion. It's perfect.
Yeah, I mean, you've got some great, and I guess the experiences it might be the same with people like Kate Perlman and Jim McCormick as well. Um,
Yeah.
what do they bring to your ideas? Is that what happens? Is it you come with an idea and they transform it, or they add their
Um,
magic to it, or
Generally, it just becomes a conversation. Like that's really what to me collaboration and co-writing is about because it's like you might have an idea that you're starting with, you might have nothing. And then the two of you kind of, the two people, will sit there and just kind of volley things back and forth until something. And it's usually on the artist side because the artist is the one who has to record and wear the song in a way. So I think there has to be a spark there for the artist who's going to record. But like, you kind of just volley stuff back and forth. And for me, I generally will come with like a melody or an idea, and then we just talk about it and just kind of like wrap our heads around it. And then it becomes this conversation. And for me, collaboration has been just this way to like, I don't know, really make the songwriting process very clear. And I still write songs on my own, but I don't know, I love, bouncing those ideas off another person and really just makes the song, I think, even more universally appealing too, just because you have somebody else there to like just help you make sense of the idea. And I just think it makes you stronger.
Yeah. Does anyone ever say no? I don't, and no, I don't think that's great, or maybe we should do this, or is there?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I work with honest writers, you know. That's the part of it like that is important, you know. And maybe they don't say it in that way, but
Yes.
most people most people are gonna give their opinion because you want to put your name on something that you can be proud of, whether as a writer or an artist, you want to be proud of what anytime I make changes to my songs, I go above and beyond to connect with the writers and just say, hey, by the way, I changed these things. I know you won't have a problem with it, but if you do, let's talk about it. But generally everybody's, it's a pretty positive experience, I'd say.
Yeah, I think the beauty of this album is we've got nine absolutely killer tracks, and we've got a lot of variety in there as well. So I think anyone
Thanks.
who's heard your previous stuff is going to love pretty much everything on here if they're like me.
I
Are
hope
all these
so.
are all these fresh songs? Are they? Do you approach a project with a blank sheet of paper, or are some of them ideas that you've had worked previously?
It's funny. Everything was a new idea except for two of the songs. Often the Blue was a song I wrote with Jim McCormick, like right after Faster had come out. I remember being in Europe and writing the song, and I'm like, I'm not exactly sure what I'm writing it for. It was a melody, it was a story. I wanted just down and I wanted to tell, and I didn't know if I'd ever be able to do anything with it. And it's always good just to keep the exercise songwriting going. Um, the opening track, I'm Done Running, I'd actually written for the Faster album with Jim McCormick and Kate Perlman. And um, I think it just didn't quite sit in with that group of songs as well. It just felt like a little bit of the odd man out at that time. And now it's like, it's so funny because the label loves that song. And, when they heard it in the demos for Faster, it's funny like how timing plays such an important role in whether or not a song strikes and resonates with people. So, sometimes you just write something that like it's just not matured enough yet and you got to give it a little bit of time, or the circumstances around it have to change in order for it to have a place. But those were the only two that really came from past sessions and different cycles. But everything else was pretty fresh for this record.
I mean, it's a wonderful song. I think the way that it builds, and one of the things that I really love about the album is your vocal. So it's not
Oh,
just
thanks.
guitar for me, but and that was one of the songs that I thought you sounded particularly strong in. But I think
Oh, thanks.
my favorite vocal on there was probably Fortune Teller.
Mm.
That is just wonderful. What a song.
That's a surprise favorite of a lot of people. Like a lot of people really, really like that song. And we wrote that one in the studio, Bobby and I remember we'd cut like a bunch of songs and I just felt like I really wanted to write something that was rooted in, um, really rooted in the things I love about blues, kind of like a North hill country vibe, North Mississippi. And so we started working on that song. And of course, if you hear the acoustic demo, it sounds super bluesy. But if you hear the song itself, it's become this like far off, like kind of psychedelic, um, big rock number, but with those elements of blues involved. And yeah, I mean, the vocal, I'm just channeling as much rock and roll and, a lot of character on that song.
Yes, absolutely. And the if you like, the second half of it just blew me away, where it just takes off and wow.
Oh,
You said you're not sure what you're going to play live, but surely there's got to be a place for
I,
it.
I feel like that one is meant for the stage, to be honest with you. I think that one is an obvious like it's going to go some different places on the stage once we start playing it and like adapt it to that setting, you know. And all these songs, there's room to stretch. Some of them we did actually stretch on the record, which was kind of cool because usually, you know, you want to keep your 2.5 minute radio friendly edit. But some of the songs we kind of took it to that live place, you know, like Southern Sounds. It's like a 6 minute long anthem of a song, but we couldn't cut anything from it. You know, it all needed to be there.
Yeah, Southern Sound's another one of my favorites, definitely. But one of the things I love most, I think, about the record is the track listing. It's like made for an album. I mean, after Fortune Teller, you've got the absolute fun of a song like Rusty Razor, which I love.
Yeah.
I love the lyrics to that song. It's great. It's almost got like I got a bit of a sort of 60s, almost like Animals vibe to it.
Yeah.
One of those kind.
Um, For sure, you know, and then just the addition of Mick Collins and his vocal really like anchored it to this, you know, Detroit garage rock thing that I've had a deep love for, and you know, a lot of those bands play off of like Motown and soul music as well. So I feel like it's just so interconnected and it like resonates on a, you know, historical level. And I don't know, I really love that song too, and just Mick made it for me. He ended up making it like one of my favorite songs on the record.
I mean, one of the great things about that song for me was going to check out some of Mick's stuff as well afterwards. It was, yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. And I get that sort of like Motown thing as well about the music. I'm a big Motown fan. It, it was just a wonderful song to hear. I love the title track as well. I mean, I'm Done Running was a wonderful opener, but I guess the big sort of bluesy number is the title track. Where did that idea come from?
Oh, well, that was actually one of the first songs I'd written for the record, and I wrote it with Jim back in the springtime. You know, I think it's definitely rooted in the frustration of, you know, being like, you know, being a woman and expected to be all things, and you know, the frustration that comes with that, like you know, the heavy expectations, and just kind of like that song is sort of stands in defiance of uh, unreal expectations. And I really feel like it's a blues song that really travels. You know, there's different segments to it, and I don't know. I feel like that's going to be one of the more powerful songs on the stage as well.
Yeah, I do. I think we've picked the two there, Fortune Teller and Paper Doll would be absolutely magical to hear live, I think. And it ends wonderfully as well. I think another one of my favorites is Don't Say It that closes the album. It's sort of like gentler number. But it's a beautiful one.
Thank you. Yeah, I think, you know, the choir
Yeah.
made some of these songs so special and emotional for me. You know, just listening, getting to be in the room with these wonderful singers, Gabby, Ko, and Junior. They like, I mean, the way that they work together and we're able to put these harmonies together and stack them. It's pretty powerful to watch that kind of collaboration happen. And I definitely got chills watching them and hearing them lay those harmonies for the first time. And it makes that moment all the more emotional, you know?
Yeah, and when you've got the big cans on and stuff like that, and I was listening to it the first time, I'm sure I got a pretty similar feel from it as well. It's wonderful, and as I say, the album's wonderfully produced. It really does credit to the songs, which I think are your
Thank you.
finest set so far. Um,
Thank you so much.
we saw you back in May with Jesse, and wonderful collaboration, wonderful album. I love Death Wish Blues. Um, Do you ever think that you could collaborate on that level again in the future? Do you see? I mean, that project
Oh,
just worked so well. Is uh,
yeah.
is there the possibility of another collaboration like that going forward? Not
I
necessarily.
mean, absolutely. Like for me, I've spoken really highly of collaboration in
Mm,
this conversation so far. I mean, really, it's like I love the I love that I've had the ability in my career to go and do different things, fill different roles, work with different people. Like, I mean, that's the spice of life, right? Collaboration and you know, switching it up. And I definitely could see myself doing another Death Wish with Jesse, or taking on another collaborative project that felt right, that came at the right time. It's all about timing, because you definitely have to go at things by yourself as well to grow. But then, there's room for that kind of open energy and bringing people in and doing that kind of work. But it's all about timing. That
Yeah,
seems to be the theme.
exactly. Exactly. And you're so busy, it must be hard to sort of like plan ahead, I guess, at um, any stage.
Yeah, but you also have to with a tour like that, it wasn't just an album and writing an album. It was like, okay, how much of our solo careers are we going to put aside while we chase down this thing together? And I think we were both really happy that we did, because we both, enjoyed working with each other primarily and creating this. We both felt very passionate about the music that we made together. And,
Yeah.
um, I think we both were really proud of that record. And, but you have to like dedicate a certain amount of time so people can come see the show and really get a feel for it. We our world, our careers are really on the road anymore. I mean, it's great to make albums, but you have to support them too.
I mean, that's almost have been what, 16, 18 months? Almost.
Yeah,
Yeah.
about 60 months really.
Yeah, it's a huge, huge chunk of time, like you say, especially between albums.
Yeah.
One thing about music fascinates me, and it's guitarists who started out as drummers. Um,
Mm,
and I know that you started off as a drummer.
I
Um,
did,
what does that give you as a guitarist? I'm fascinated by asking this one question.
Well, I think it gave me it drilled rhythm into my head, so I feel like I had a little more of like, just the coordination, where you have your feet and your hands going at the same time with drums. Once I started singing and playing guitar, I think that something clicked maybe a little faster for me, where I had the coordination of singing and playing at the same time, just maybe a hair faster. But rhythm, really, I mean, rhythm is everything. It's what people dance to. So it's everything. It's the foundation of it all. So I feel like it definitely gave me a good starting point on the guitar and in my singing.
Yeah, actually think at this point in time, you're probably my favorite guitarist out there. I mean,
Oh
just
my God.
seeing you
Thank you.
live, and I don't go in for this male guitarist, female guitarist thing. It's just
I
fun.
appreciate that. It usually comes up with a qualifier, like you're
I
my
know.
favorite guitarist. I'm like, okay, well, on the regular list, where do I stand? Like, am I 10? Am I 20? Am I 50? Like, what the hell?
Yeah, I hate reading stuff like that. It's just, yeah, awful. But got a few questions for a radio show I'd love to ask you that we'll put
Sure.
online and play some music. We ask everyone these, and I've been asking people these same two questions for 15 years, so it's pretty lazy of me. But here we go. If you could have been a fly on the wall for the creation of any great album, just to see how the magic happened in the studio, what's one, not necessarily a favorite album, but one that's always intrigued you?
Hmm. That's a tough question. I mean, there's so many. Um, well, I'll just say like one of my favorites was the R.L. Burnside "Ass Pocket of Whiskey" record
Oh,
with and John Spencer. Blues Explosion was the
yeah,
backing band with like Kenny Brown and R.L. I believe Cedric was on that record. I think I would have just loved to see what that collaboration looked and felt like, because it's too like, Blues Explosion's like incendiary,
yeah.
wild people, and then there's North Hill Country Blues, which they're wild, So I think that would have been such a crazy atmosphere to witness.
It was a fantastic album as well. And strangely enough, I was playing that last weekend. Um,
Yeah.
it's it's such a fun album. Um, and the final question, we always leave a really easy one till last, is what is the meaning of life?
Oh God. That's really tough too. The meaning of life. Um, Probably connection, I guess, right? Like connection with others and um the the mark you leave and on the world, and that's how you connect with others. I'd say just connecting with other people who are on this crazy spinning rock and trying to make the most of it. Be a good person and, you know, try to enjoy it, and make sense of it while you're here.
Yeah, and I think all I'd add to that was a bit of put some music in there as well, because I think
For
music,
sure. Well, music
music,
is connection. Music
it
is
is, it
connection.
is, it is.
A
It's
universal connection that we can all understand. It's like our universal language for sure.
absolutely. Well, I'm going to ask you for one more thing afterwards, but thank you so
Sure.
much for talking to us today. It's been absolutely wonderful to speak to you, and I just so far my album of the year. I mean, I know we're fairly early on,
It's
but
early. I was gonna
it's
say.
early. But I think I said that about a couple of albums over the years, and they've just stayed there all year. That's wonderful. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. I honestly think that this is going to be huge. So.
Oh, thanks.
Let's spread the word and get it out there. But everyone should hear this. I don't know. There's something about it, something about the songs. I mean, I always know it's a good album when I can't pick a favorite.
Oh, good.
At the minute, I think "Lose You" might just be edging it, which is a
Yeah.
song I haven't mentioned yet, but one I absolutely love. So
I love that song too. It's like my biggest fear is figuring out how to play all those dreamy layered guitars in as one part. Because I remember layering them, going like, "You're gonna fucking hate yourself when this comes out," because like it's a lot.
yeah.
But yeah, I love that song too. It's really lush and very cool.
It's wonderful, and hopefully we'll catch you down here in 2026. Thank you so much,
That's good.
Samantha Fish.
Thanks,
Take care.
Mark.
Have a great
Talk
day.
soon. Bye.